Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive on something essential to every computer experience: ports. These little guys are the gateways to connecting all your devices, from mice and keyboards to monitors and external drives. We'll cover everything from the ubiquitous USB to the almost forgotten PS2 and everything in between. So sit back, maybe grab your favorite tech to tinker with, and let's unravel the world of computer ports. Alright, let's kick things off with the rock star of the port world, USB. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, and it really has lived up to its name. It's the go-to for connecting almost anything to your computer: external hard drives, printers, cameras, you name it. The beauty of USB is its simplicity. It's designed to be plug and play, so you don't have to mess around with complicated drivers or settings. Over the years, USB has gotten significantly faster, with USB 3.0 and beyond offering blazing fast speeds. We've got the classic rectangular USB-A, the more compact USB-C found on newer devices, and even micro USB, which is commonly used for charging smaller gadgets. Since its introduction in 1997, USB has become the universal standard, replacing many older ports. Next up, we're taking a trip down memory lane with serial ports, also known as COM ports. They were the standard for connecting peripherals before USB came along. You could spot a serial port by its distinctive 9-pin or 25-pin connector. Serial ports were used for connecting old-school dial-up modems, mice, and even some printers. While they're not as common today, they still have their uses in certain industrial and scientific applications. The speed of a serial port was measured in kilobits per second, while USB has moved on to megabits and even gigabits per second. Moving on to another port that's become less common: the parallel port, also known as the printer port or LPT port. This port was primarily used for connecting printers, but it could also handle scanners and some other peripherals. You could easily recognize a parallel port by its bulky 25-pin connector. One of the advantages of the parallel port was that it could transmit data faster than a serial port, which was crucial for handling large print jobs. However, just like the serial port, the parallel port eventually started to be phased out as USB gained popularity. USB's speed, versatility, and smaller connector size made it the clear winner in the long run. Now let's talk about a port that might bring back some serious nostalgia: the PS2 port. This one was a staple on desktop computers for many years, primarily used for connecting keyboards and mice. You could easily spot a PS2 port by its round shape and the small color-coded connectors. One of the downsides of PS2 ports was that they were notoriously fragile. As USB became more prevalent, PS2 ports gradually started to disappear from newer computers. However, some keyboards and mice still come with PS2 connectors, especially those designed for gaming, as they can offer slightly faster response times compared to USB. Let's shift gears and talk about ports that handle video output, starting with the VGA port. VGA stands for Video Graphics Array, and it was the go-to standard for connecting monitors to computers for many years. You could recognize a VGA port by its distinctive blue color and the 15-pin connector. While VGA was capable of displaying high resolutions, it wasn't as sharp or as vibrant as newer digital interfaces. As LCD monitors became more popular, VGA ports started to be replaced by DVI and HDMI. However, VGA ports are still found on some projectors and older monitors, so it's good to know what they are and how they work. Now let's talk about a port that represents an early attempt at wireless connectivity: the infrared port, or RDA port. Infrared ports used beams of light to transmit data wirelessly over short distances, typically within a few feet. They were commonly used for transferring files between mobile phones, PDAs, and even some laptops. One of the limitations of infrared was that it required a direct line of sight between the devices, and it was easily interfered with by obstacles or sunlight. While infrared ports are pretty much extinct on modern devices, they were an important stepping stone in the evolution of wireless communication. Let's get back to video ports with the Digital Video Interface, or DVI for short. DVI was a major leap forward from VGA because it transmitted video signals digitally, which meant sharper images and more accurate colors. DVI came in different flavors, including DVI-A for analog signals, DVI-D for digital signals, and DVI-I for both. However, as HDMI emerged with its ability to carry both audio and video signals over a single cable, DVI started to take a back seat. While DVI ports are less common on newer devices, they're still found on some monitors and graphics cards, especially those geared towards professional use. Finally, let's talk about the port that connects you to the world, the Ethernet port. This is the one you use to plug in your network cable and get that sweet internet access. Ethernet ports are found on pretty much every computer, and they provide the most stable and reliable way to connect to a wired network. One of the biggest advantages of Ethernet is its speed. While Wi-Fi speeds have improved significantly, a wired Ethernet connection can still offer faster speeds and lower latency. Ethernet cables themselves come in different categories, with Cat5e and Cat6 being the most common today. So, whether you're connecting to your home router or a massive corporate network, the Ethernet port is an essential part of the modern computing experience. So there you have it, a comprehensive tour of the world of computer ports. We've covered everything from the essential USB and Ethernet ports to the legacy serial and parallel ports. It's amazing to see how far connectivity has come and how these small but mighty ports have shaped the way we interact with our computers and the world around us. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this tech deep dive, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.